Mr. Eggplant presents...
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And I have another Mythic Plus dungeon run from the first season of The War Within, and this time we're in a +6 Mists of Tirna Scythe. And Mist was originally added back in Shadowlands, so it was not too long ago, but it was really nice to get back in here, even if it was just a couple of expansions later. So we're going to have a really big pull here at the beginning, so I'm going to use my volley, true shot, then rapid fire, aim shot, and then we're just going to spray damage. That's what we're doing here. That's the lovely thing about these big pulls, is that you can just continue to get trick shots and then just send aim shot, trick shots. Then you're going to send your rapid fire, then multi-shot to get trick shots again, aim shot, and so on and so forth. I did know that we were doing a big pack here, so it definitely helped that I was ready to go. We got about a 3 million DPS or so pull on this first pack, and then the villager is usually the last one standing, since it does have significantly more health than everything else. If you get tethered like you saw me there just a second ago, you can feign death that, and it will drop the tether and you'll stop taking damage. And so this is a +6 Tirna Scythe, like I said, and the affixes are Xal'athath's Bargin and Tyrannical. Once we get to level 7, we'll start to see that third affix, which is the Challenger's Peril. On this trash here, you want to interrupt the harvest essence that is the dressed harvester is using right there. Unfortunately, we did not get that done, so it does an AoE amount of damage for your entire group, and it can get out of hand very quickly if you have the little spikes that are coming up in the ground as well. That's just something we don't normally pull this pack, but since we didn't have any way to get around it, we decided to go ahead and pull it, and it honestly wasn't too big of a deal. And whenever the bow breaker, the big guy there, gets to 50% health, he starts doing that slam where it does AoE damage. Whenever we have a double pack here in just a minute, you make sure and burn one of them down, and then you go and you burn the other one down, because you don't want them doing that at the exact same time, particularly on Fortified. So I'm looking at my cooldowns right now. You just saw that I sent True Shot, and I do have a couple of abilities that are going to be whittling the cooldown of True Shot, so I can send it significantly more in these next couple of dungeons, and I have more videos lined up. So if you guys would like to see a certain dungeon, please leave me a comment down below, and I will be sure and try to make that a priority for you. And so we are just sending cooldowns as much as I can. I'm going to go ahead and grab that savory mushroom. That way I get 10% of my main stat, and then here is that double pack of bow breakers. So we're going to go ahead and mark one of them and then just AoE. So on this stuff, even though there's only 2 enemies, we are still going to go ahead and use multi-shot in between each one of our aim shots and each one of our rapid fires, just because it's doing more damage. So you're able to proc one of the abilities in the Sentinel tree as well. So every time that hits something with Sentinel, it is going to be taking a little bit of extra damage, and it is actually much better to do that than it is to go ahead and use an arcane shot. So you'll really only see arcane shot here for single target. So looking at my cooldowns, everything's basically ready to go, and the Ingra fight is coming up here in just a second. So I want to make sure I have True Shot for this boss, but we're not going to use it on pull. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Mist, there's 2 bosses here, but Droman is actually good. He is just being mind controlled. So what we need to do is burn Droman to, I believe it's either 25 or 20%, and then the mind control breaks, and then you're going to do damage to Ingra. And Ingra is going to be taking significantly more damage, so you want to make sure and hold on to your True Shot, your any potions, your lust, that sort of thing. You don't want to get hit by those Tears of the Forest. They do ticking damage if you stand in the goop, and then also it just flat out does significant damage if you get hit by it. So we're at 35% on Droman, and we're getting ready to set up for a big damage boost right here. So we're going to dodge the Tears of the Forest, trying to stay near my healer. Unfortunately, lose Oddwin there, which we'll talk about the group here in a second, and then we're just going to just pump on Ingra. So here comes the True Shot volley, then it's going to go rapid fire, aim shot, and we have that 20% haste boost thanks to Xal'athath's Bargin, and it came up at the perfect time. And if you guys checked out my Necrotic Wake run, we had some really good Xal'athath Bargin pop-ups throughout these dungeons. So I don't know if we could replicate that all the time, but man, it was nice to get that amount of haste when we needed it most during priority pulls. So Ingra is no longer the target. We need to go back to Droman. Got full healed. He's once again mind controlled. So I'm going to go ahead and just get out of that corner over there. I don't want to get stuck over there. I want to be back near my healer, as Sai is doing a really great job of keeping us up in all of these dungeon runs we've posted so far. There goes those orbs of ascension, or ascendance, excuse me, and then that is what gives you that haste. And you can go ahead and use your implosive shot, and it will deal with almost all of those. So now we are back on Ingra, and we are just going to finish this boss off. You'll notice I have True Shot up right now. I'm going to go ahead and hold it because I know that we're going to be going through Ingra's health very, very quickly. Teach is absolutely popping off, doing some amazing damage on his Destro Warlock. It's exciting that we're going to get to see two flavors. We're going to get to see his Blood DK in some runs, and then we're going to get to see his Destro Warlock in others, since his Destro Lock is actually what he plays in Raid, in our Raid video. So I hope you guys will check those out as well. And Zaft is tanking for us on his Prot Paladin. We have Teach, of course, on his Destro Warlock. Odwin is holding it down as a Ret Paladin, doing some amazing work, so shout out to him. He's really putting in the work these last couple of expansions, and even though he doesn't know this dungeon like we do or by heart, he did some amazing work in this run, so shout out to him. And then also we have Sai doing the honors healing on his Resto Shaman. You will see quite a bit of him in the upcoming keys. So now we're just trying to get through the maze here, and I am not actually running the add-on or the weak aura that helps us with that, so I'm relying on the group to do that. So something I really wanted to practice was making sure I got the most out of my Lunar Storm, and I've been trying to make sure I use my Rapid Fire when I know that it's going to drop a Lunar Storm on the target, to make sure I delay it a little bit if I have to. That way I'm getting more of that damage on the boss, on the adds, whatever we are fighting. So we got all of our buff from the Xal'athath's Bargin, and we're just going to finish off this pack. The Expel is kind of annoying because it knocks you back. What I probably should have done was dropped a binding shot there, because I actually don't know if you can bind them. I'm pretty sure you can, but that's something that I need to be testing, because it's been a hot minute since I had done some of these keys. So when we get into the maze, where the goal obviously is to just have our True Shot up for Mistcaller. So if we're going to do that, we have to just make sure and send it as much as possible until we get to the end of the maze. And then I got the big circle, which could not be dispelled since Sai was on cooldown, so I made sure and popped double defensives there, because I knew it was going to absolutely annihilate me. Even taking 30% less damage and having 20% more health, I still took, what, like 50, 60% of my health? It was no joke, and this is not even fortified. And we just want to watch out for those anima slashes as well. I'm pretty sure it's a frontal. I could be wrong, but that's where I'm going to stay way the heck back here. And then just looking at my build, if you guys would like to check that out, it will be found down in the description of the video, much like with all of my Mythic Plus and Raid fights. And then I am currently a Sentinel Marksman Hunter. My item level is 607. I do have my 4 set in this video. It's not as nice in single target, at least during our True Shot window, since you don't use it at all, which feels bad, but you know, it is what it is. But you definitely get value in AoE, so we're going to get a little bit of boost to damage thanks to that tier set, where our precise shot procs are increasing the damage of our next aim shot by up to 20%. And then I am playing Sentinel, like I said. In the near future, once we get to 11.05, you may see a ton more Dark Ranger content, and I'm all about that. I've been so excited. I've been wanting to get here on the PTR. I haven't actually yet, but my goal is to get on the PTR here in the coming weeks and to test it out and see just how much more fun it is. Because I know that Sentinel is not for everybody, and if you want to play Dark Ranger, by all means, go play Dark Ranger. I will be playing Sentinel for now. I'm still getting used to the playstyle, and so is my group. And so that's going to be something that will continue, that will hone over the coming weeks. So right there, for example, the frog just got pulled out of my circle. Even though the circle's bugged and you can't actually see it on the screen right now, you still saw the Sentinel Owl. So just little things like that where I lost all of my damage just because the tank moved the ad just a little bit too far. I hate it that you cannot see it. because I feel like that was such a misstep, so you could not see the Sentinel Owl. So I'm looking at my cooldowns. I have True Shot up, and I have everything else is basically on cooldown. And now I need to look and figure out, is the boss next? Yes or no? The boss is next, so I need to make sure and hold on to my True Shot. And we're going to finish off this Guardian, and then we're going to head over and take on Mistcaller. So on Mistcaller, it's a pretty standard boss where you have to figure out which one of the clones is the real one and which one is the fake, which one sticks out. And I'm going to go ahead and send all of my cooldowns here. So I'm going to use Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, and then we're just going to get as much damage as we can as possible for the first transition where the boss will split. Well, not really split, but make the copies, and we'll figure out which one is which. So here comes the orbs. Got the freeze tag coming down, so I use my... I just realized I think that actually just gets broke naturally. Either that or... Oh, somebody actually did hit it. It looks like it was Oddwin that had hit it with an AoE that he cannot control. So I can't say too much about that. So we're trying to figure out which one of these clones is not like the other. And for us, it's going to be this first one here. So if you guys are unfamiliar with how the clones work, there's going to be several different things you're going to look for. I'm going to dodge the barrage there. Oddwin... felt the wrath of it once again. And like I said, he hasn't done this one a ton, so, you know, no big deal there. He more than made up for it, that's for sure. You want to dodge the dodge balls. There it puts the arrow, and just basically where you were standing. Don't be standing where you were. Like, either move right or left and try not to clump as much as possible. Otherwise, everybody can stand on top of each other, and then everybody moves as a group. That's also an option. But normally, you just CC the Vulpin, and that's what I usually use, like a Fear, as you saw Teach do there, or you can freeze trap, that sort of thing, but it was getting taken out of that. So we're at 40% on Mistcaller. Here comes the next orbs. Sai, once again, like I said, did an amazing job of dealing with those, and now we just need to figure out which one of these clones isn't real. And you have to do it on the fly because they all do this penalizing burst, which does more damage, like AoE-wise, and it gets stronger as we go. And then, unfortunately, if you guess wrong, everybody takes a huge ping of damage, so you want to be very, very careful of that. So we're at 30% on Mistcaller, and oh, by the way, Mistcaller does take significantly the actual one does take significantly less damage whenever the copies are out. So there is the freezing, or excuse me, the Vulpin. I should have probably put a binding shot down there, but he got the hammer, so Oddwin was quick on that one, so I didn't really have to worry about it too much. And then the last transition here is going to be when Mistcaller hits 10%. It used to be everybody had the cube from the other side. Everybody would be able to just kill it outright, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. I unfortunately am on the wrong clone here, so that's probably a good thing that I wasn't doing enough damage. So it kind of is what it is. You can think, oh, this one's absolutely right. You can also nuke your group, but Mistcaller is going to go down here at 5% left. And then we are headed to the final stretch of this dungeon. In fact, this dungeon is a pretty fast one. I think we clocked in at around 20 minutes or so. Again, like, that's 2 bosses in a row that Teach is absolutely putting in work on an undergeared, might I add, Destro lock. So I cannot wait to see what his lock is going to look like with full tier and like a 620 plus item level. He is going to be absolutely cooking. Maybe even get a little bit higher than 620. So now we just trying to get down to Tred'ova, which is the final boss. They did change just a little bit from Shadowlands, but I opted to go ahead and hold on to my True Shot here in favor of a bigger pull after this. You want to interrupt the Staghorns, and they did add Staghorns to some of these packs. So it used to be there would be some where you could do really big pulls, but now I believe every pack has a Staghorn. So because of that, you want to be very careful and you don't pull a bunch of them because you won't be able to get the interrupts. They'll start healing, and then you're pretty much SOL. So I keep getting the circle on me, so I keep rotating my defensives here as much as possible because this stuff hurts. If you get poisons on you, you can get rid of those thanks to our Feigned Death and or Turtle. I probably wouldn't waste Turtle on it though unless you absolutely had to. But I'm going to go ahead and send my true shot here. It's a pretty big pull. This used to be a pull where you'd pull the bees or the wasps as well, which now they are just now coming in. And then we're just dealing with the Xal'athath's Bargin, getting that extra haste, which is nice because it's pretty much, as long as you deal with them, as I'm going to feign here because I'm going to get absolutely annihilated otherwise, it is like pretty much everybody having a PI, which it's a little bit less than a PI, but still, it's very, very strong. And I'm going to miss it once we get at 12, and then we don't get that buff anymore. So you saw I had a double stack of poison from the wasps, so I did use my turtle to get rid of that, and then immediately turn the turtle off really fast. The regeneration is still on the stag beetles are still the ones that you want to interrupt because it does a significant amount of healing very, very quickly. And if you get stuck in this circle, if anybody else gets in it, it will actually knock them back and probably knock them off the platform. So you want to be very, very careful with that. And then we're looking at true shot. So I have about 5 seconds left on my true shot. I know if I'm going to get another true shot out, I have to send it now on this pack. That way I can have it up for the boss because we want it for the very first pulls of basically every boss within reason. So you can get all of the careful aim bonus damage, because single target is not Marksman Hunter's forte here in the War Within. It hasn't really been for a hot minute, but we want to make sure we can get all the damage that we can and just kind of help. Honestly, it helps us kind of coast once we reach the middle health percentages until we get to our execute phase where we do a significantly more amount of damage as well. And I'm pretty sure now that I think about it, I wish I would have moved a little bit more for Odwin. He might have died in my circle. I'm not sure. Either way, I have been just, for whatever reason, I'm so jealous of his awesome hunter, or excuse me, his awesome human Mog, that I had to make sure that he took a few dirt naps in this run. But if we're being honest, we had one paladin get sacrificed, what, 4 times now, so we could time this key, and we actually 2-chested this, and we got a +8 Dawnbreaker. Whew! Dawnbreaker hurt. But now we're on Tred'ova, and this is going to be the final boss of the dungeon here, and we aren't up to enemy forces yet, so we do have to make sure and still finish that. So whenever the incubation comes out, the larvas are going to come out and they're going to fixate on a player. You want to throw your binding shot down. I'm going to feign to get this larva off me, and I'm just going to cleave off the boss as much as possible. Here comes the mind link, so it connects every player together, and you have to run and get away from that. And this pull in here, this is new. So this was not something that we had to deal with back in Shadowlands, but we do now. And consumption is going to be casting until we burn through the shield. It's just a percentage of the boss's health. It may even be like 3 to 5%. I don't know for sure. But on this key level, even on Tyrannical, with the DPS that we have in this group, it's pretty quick work. And in fact, somebody in the group definitely asked, "Hey, I thought that there was a shield." Well, we just burned through it that fast. So the next set of larvae comes out. I put a binding shot down, and you should have a binding for every one of them as well. I'm going to disengage to get away from the mind link, because if you get, you just do a significant amount of damage, and then you can actually get mind controlled where we have to end up just killing you. The nice thing about Tred'ova being so big is that and doesn't move very much, so I'm going to get a ton of value for being a Sentinel Marksman Hunter with the Lunar Storm. So I'm going to guess that Lunar Storm is one of the highest amount of damage for at least this boss fight. So I want to avoid the green poop on the ground, and I'm in a really bad place right now, so I need to make sure and get out of here ASAP. I sent my true shot here because I knew I wasn't going to get another one, and we were going to have another trash pack. I probably should have held it, if I'm being honest with you, and just delayed it just enough. That way we could continue to use it on the boss whenever we're doing that execute damage. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20, and that was not the difference between timing and not timing this key. So rapid fire, and then we're at 15% on Tred'ova, and we are already talking in comms about where we are headed next, which we have a couple of more packs to pull. Looking at my true shot, I'm at 40-ish seconds left, but Tred'ova is going down very, very quickly. Those larvae are coming out, but we really don't need to worry about it. I could throw a binding down just to be safe so we didn't somebody get munched, you know, that sort of thing. But down goes the final boss. There pops all the achievements, but we're not quite done. Got a couple more pulls here. I think it's 2 packs in total. Some good pad damage here at the very end. I'm going to have my true shot up for that, so I am all about it. But overall in this dungeon, I did 1.17 million DPS, and I was using the wrong build, so the video or the builds in the future videos will be different than this one, since I did not have my Bullet Storm, and I also didn't have... Overwatch as well, which would have done a lot more AoE damage. It wouldn't have been as big for bosses, but, you know, it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Be sure and follow me over at Twitch, at twitch.tv/MrEggplant. I've got a lot more Mythic Plus runs very soon. I even got back into the Mage Tower here in 11.0. Hope you guys will check that out. I'll have one for every Hunter spec. I'll have one to try to get you guys the most and get you those cool Mog pieces from the Mage Tower. But let me know what kind of videos you guys would like to see next here on my channel. I've got more delves, I've got PvP headed your way, and honestly, I've just been super busy, and I hope you guys will come along with me on my journey, and I will have my journey update video on Monday evening. So thank you guys for watching. Best of luck in your run. I know that you guys can do it. I hope you guys can push as high as possible. I'm already over 1,000 rating with a bunch of keys still left undone for this week, so my goal is to try to get through as many of those as possible. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.